Ever been stuck in one of those meetings?
Yeah.
You know, the sales talk starts, jargon flying everywhere, and you feel like you need a live translator.
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. And what gets lost often is not just the meaning, but the actual human stuff going on.
Right. So today, we're going to cut through some of that. We're doing a deep dive into a pretty classic example. It's a sales meeting from a transcript we found via English Podcast Zone on YouTube.
Think of it like getting a peek behind the curtain. We're looking at the business English, sure, but also the sales tactics, how people suggest things, how others react, all that.
Exactly. This is for you, the learner, if you want to really get business English and sales chat without feeling, totally lost. We'll unpack the key bits, the phrases.
Yeah, make it make sense. The source is basically a transcript from a business English learning context focusing on this sales meeting. The goal for us, pull out the insights on strategy, suggestions, responses, and the practical English you can use.
Okay, so let's dive in, setting the scene.
Right. It kicks off with a manager talking to the sales team. And you can feel the tension straight away. Sales aren't great. They need improvement.
And the manager wants, what was it? Concrete solutions.
Yeah.
Very direct.
Yeah, no messing about. The pressure's definitely on.
So first up is Roger. He suggests maybe lowering prices to match the competitors.
His reasoning is that they're, quote, the most expensive in the market.
And the manager's reaction, not exactly warm, is it?
Not at all. Straight away, it's not very creative. Ouch. And then, it'll never fly with Swan. Whoever Swan is, presumably someone important.
Yeah, we find out later Swan's the CEO. But that immediate shutdown, it really sets the tone, doesn't it? It kind of stifles things before they even start.
Totally. It highlights that whole idea of psychological safety. If you think you're just going to get shot down, why bother speaking up?
True. Then Natalie gives it a go. She suggests a promotion.
Specifically a 2-for-1 offer.
And the manager. Still not impressed. That's the same thing, apparently. Followed by bad idea, really bad idea.
Wow. So lowering prices is bad. A 2-for-1 promotion is bad. You start to wonder what would be a good idea in his book.
It just feels like such a negative space for brainstorming,
It really does. A creativity killer, like you said.
Okay, let's pause on a term here. Drive sales. We hear this constantly in business contexts.
Right. It's pretty straightforward, really. It just means increase sales, sell more stuff.
It's the main goal, the reason they're having this difficult meeting.
Exactly. And driving sales can involve anything from marketing to sales team performance, even product stuff. It's the big picture outcome.
And the other term that came up was promotion.
Yes. And the source makes a good point. This isn't about getting a raise or a new job title.
Oh, no, this is the marketing kind of promotion.
Like Natalie's 2-for-1 offer. That's a classic sales promotion. Buy one, get one free.
Or like a temporary price cut. Maybe something's usually 50 quid, now it's 40 for a week.
Precisely. Tactics to get people buying. Boost sales quickly, often.
So we've got this really tense meeting. Ideas getting smacked down. But then things take a turn.
A big turn. The whole atmosphere just flips. Why? Because Mr. Swan, the CEO, is about to arrive.
Yeah, the manager suddenly changes his tune completely. Goes from being super critical to, well, almost sucking up.
It's quite something in the transcript. The manager, who just dismissed everything, turns to the CEO and asks, Mr. Swan, do we have any ideas yet?
And then get this, he immediately brings up Natalie's 2-for-1 offer, the one he called a really bad idea.
And presents it as something the team, presumably including him, were kind of considering.
The nerve. It's just, wow.
It really shows you how power dynamics work, doesn't it? Whose idea gets heard can depend entirely on who's listening or who's presenting it.
And the CEO's reaction couldn't be more different from the manager's initial one.
Night and day. He says, I kind of like the sound of that. Then it sounds like something we should consider.
He even calls it a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And very creative. The exact opposite of what the manager said just minutes before.
It really makes you think how many good ideas get lost just because they aren't presented by the quote-unquote right person.
Or because the initial gatekeeper is just, well, negative.
Exactly. It underlines why having an open environment where ideas are judged on merit is so important, though clearly not happening here.
Okay, let's dig into some of the specific language the source highlighted. First, match the competitors.
Right. Roger's idea. The examples given help clarify it could mean guaranteeing the lowest price, which might be impossible if your costs are high.
Or just being in the same ballpark. price-wise while maybe arguing you have better quality. It's about being competitive in your specific field.
Yeah, it's about positioning yourself relative to others selling similar things.
Then there's in the market. Simple enough, it just means in the industry, right?
Exactly. Like the examples, best language pod in the market or most popular MP3 players in the market, it contextualizes things.
So when Roger said they were the most expensive in the market, he meant compared to other companies in their industry.
Precisely. Sets the stage for the whole price discussion.
And that phrase the manager used, it'll never fly.
Huh. Yeah, definitely not about planes.
No, it means, it won't work, it won't get approved. Like the examples of a super expensive marketing plan maybe wouldn't fly.
Or selling bikinis in Alaska, as the source amusingly suggests.
Right? It's a very final-sounding rejection. That's how the manager dismissed Roger's idea. Pretty blunt.
Very dismissive, not exactly constructive feedback.
Okay, shifting gears slightly to the Fluency Builder section. Be here any minute.
Ah, yes. The source contrasts this with just saying, I'll be here soon. Any minute feels much more immediate, doesn't it?
Yeah, like someone's literally about to walk in the door.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the vibe the manager gives about the CEO arriving. That sense of urgency, maybe even panic.
Imminent arrival
Yeah.
creates a bit of drama.
Next up, consider.
A great word in business. The source notes it often sounds a bit more formal and, well, considered than just thinking about.
Right. It implies a more careful evaluation. And we heard both the manager, when talking to the CEO, and the CEO himself use it. Something we should consider.
Yeah, it adds a bit of professional weight to the idea of evaluating the suggestion.
And finally, brilliant.
Which the CEO used for Natalie's idea eventually.
Yes. The source points out it's maybe more common in British English, and it's a step up from just great. It applies real cleverness or excellence.
It's a strong positive, a real stamp of approval, which, again, contrasts sharply with the manager's initial take.
Now, the original hosts, commenting on this transcript, they didn't mince words about the manager.
No, they called him a bad manager, someone terrible to work for. And based on this dialogue, it's hard to argue.
Yeah, the lack of encouragement, cutting people off, dismissing ideas.
And then taking credit. That's classic bad management bingo right there.
It really is. The source contrasted this with an example of a good boss, someone who encourages, knows people's names, makes them feel valued.
That positive environment, that's where the good ideas actually have a chance to surface and grow. Totally different dynamic.
And this brings it back to you, the learner. Think about your own experiences. Have you seen these kinds of managers, these dynamics?
Understanding how this plays out, the language used, the underlying behaviors, it's really useful for navigating your own work situations.
Definitely. Okay, just to quickly recap the key vocabulary from the source's review. Concrete solutions, practical answers.
Drive sales, increase sales, in the market, in the industry.
Match the competitors, offer similar price or quality, will never fly, won't work, or get approved.
Promotion, a marketing activity to boost sales. Be here any minute, arriving very soon.
To consider, think carefully about something. And brilliant, excellent, outstanding.
Phew. Okay, so pulling it all together for you, the learner, what have we unpacked here?
Well, you've seen how a sales strategy chat can actually unfold. You've picked up some practical business English phrases.
And maybe more importantly, you've seen different communication styles, different management styles, playing out in real time, so to speak.
It's about understanding the words, but also the actions and the atmosphere.
So here's a final thought to chew on, maybe drawing from this or your own experience. What kind of environment, what kind of leadership do you think genuinely sparks creative ideas and drives positive results? Something to consider.
Recognizing these things definitely equips you better for your own professional journey.
Absolutely. Helps you analyze what's really going on under the surface.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, good stuff. Until next time.